Hello, everyone, and welcome to class. Today is class 114, Megaprompts and Chapter Briefs. We'll be putting together a Megaprompt, which includes a couple of different elements, setting and characters and writing style. We'll be putting it all together, and I'll show you how you can use it to then go to Claude or another LLM to prompt and get a full chapter.
So the Megaprompt concept, the concept of megaprompting is fairly simple. All right. It uses a long context window in an LLM and loads it up with information about how and what to write. We call this context stuffing, and it works for any of the LLMs with a large enough context window to handle multiple thousands of words. So we're talking Claude 2.0, 100K is a good model. I don't recommend 2.1 for megaprompts because it tends to balk at the idea of writing, creative writing in 2.1, and I don't know why. It probably has something to do with the new RAG model that they put on the back end. So I recommend Claude 2.0 for this task. You can also use this in GPT-4. GPT-4 has a context window of 8,000 tokens. If you can keep your megaprompt small, you can probably use GPT-4 as well. There are also some open source models with larger context windows. Mythomist is one. For this class, I said here, use a large context model like Claude 2.0 or GPT-4 Turbo is recommended. Okay, so let's discuss your writing style. Not everybody knows their writing style. That's totally normal. What you can do, though, is you can use an LLM to find your writing style, okay? To find your writing style for the LLM by asking an LLM to analyze your writing style. So you're going to take a selection of your writing, about 1,500 to 2,000 words. If you do not have a selection of your writing because this is your first book, you may want to start writing something. Write something in your writing style that you like, that gels with you and feels good, and you're going to use that as your sample, okay? Choose an LLM model that is capable of good analysis. This is usually like GPT-4 or Claude, and then prompt the LLM with, and here I give you a sample prompt, okay? Once you have your writing style, you're going to save it for later. I just covered number 4 in this list. Once you get back an answer, don't edit it. If it says your work is witty, but you feel it's not, do not change it because it feels that this is what your writing is like, all right? Whatever the LLM classifies your writing style as how it is, how it will write, okay? If you feel that the sample it gave you is not representative of your overall style, then do the exercise again with different text, okay? Could be that you just chose the wrong text for it to analyze. Now we're going to go on to chapter brief. Because once you have a whole megaprompt put together, which is your setting, characters, writing style, right, your story so far, you're going to give it a chapter brief and you're going to say, write this chapter. Once you have all the other elements together, you'll need to provide the LLM with a brief on how to write the chapter. This brief can be fluid and contain lots of information or little information. Your mileage may vary here, okay? You may decide you don't need all of that information. You could start with all that information. You could even put in more information if you think about it. It may take a few times of prompting to get it right, okay? So that's a chapter brief. As you can see, we include lots of information. In the chapter brief, I've included tone and mood and who the pertinent characters are, where they are, the story beats for what's happening. Do some experimentation, and you will find the right kind of chapter brief for you. Things to know about your megaprompting, okay? Sometimes megaprompting just doesn't work, and I apologize, even though it's not my fault. We don't know why, but on occasion, the LLM just refuses to write. Give it a break and come back later. We're not really sure why it does this. It's a whole neural network that people are looking at and trying to understand why it works the way it does. It just does, okay? Give it a break, come back later, try again. You will have to adjust some hyperparameters if you're not using a chat model. So a lot of the chat models don't give you access to the hyperparameters. I recommend that you do if you can. If you're part of the, let's say here, and you're using Rexy, you have access to the hyperparameters within the tool. So you can go ahead and adjust them, all right? And so this is what I'm going to suggest. Temperature. Consider turning this down to around 0.6 or 0.7 in Claude so that it follows the brief. A temperature too high can cause it to go off the rails and hallucinate. If you are using Rexy, and you're coming in and using the Megaprompt that I have built into the prompt library, which is basically what I just showed you on that other page, I actually already have it set so that it's around 0.6. And all you'll have to do is press the button, which is a feature of Rexy, right? You get to have the things that I put together for you. Max length tokens. So this will need some adjusting. It should be big enough to handle your prompt plus the response. Okay. So think about if your mega prompt is like 5,000 words, because you've got the story so far and you've got all these characters and setting information, and it's like a big thing, 5,000 words, but you want 2,000 words back in a response, then your max length should be at least 7,000. You should set it to at least 7,000. You could probably go as high as like 12 or 15 or even more. Now, if something in your mega prompt is really important for the scene, this is another thing to think about. If it's important for the scene, you want to repeat it at least twice in the prompt, all right? Because remember about the skimming. Remember the LLM skims your prompts. It doesn't know them. So if something is important, emphasize it by repeating it at least twice.